Welcome, good afternoon, morning, night, whatever. I've got my handy dandy notes here on this binder. So this is Lightroom tutorial, like part 2, intermediate, advanced, just the other stuff. So we're gonna learn the rest of Lightroom today, or most of the rest. It's pretty easy. It's just a lot to remember, like a lot of tools to know when to use it or what tools there even are. So that'll be the hardest part, just to remember. Everything else is pretty straightforward. So we're gonna continue with the other tools, and we're gonna do the tone curve, which is what I didn't do. Everything else I didn't do in the first video. So this is for the like advanced, this is like the non-basic, like right in your face stuff. So if you do not know how to use Lightroom at all, go to that other video. It'll be probably over here or in the bio or some description or something. So this, like I said, this is going to be for the other tools, and we're going to crop for Instagram today. So it's a portrait, so it's going to look like this, and we're going to crop it for Instagram like that. And so it's going to take your picture that we did, it's going to look like this, and we're going to turn it into this. All right, let's get on the computer and let's have at it. We are in Lightroom now, and I just did a quick edit of this picture here. This was taken in San Diego. I thought it was pretty cool. So just some things I'd like to highlight that I did was I did the profile corrections, and I just hit level to level that horizon because it looked pretty simple to level. A little vignette, and then just your standard kind of stuff here like last tutorial. So this was this was right out of the camera, and then this was with my editing. So let's get right into this. So first we're going to start with the tone curve. This would be the next part you'd want to do after all this. I like to do what's called an S curve, which makes the highlights up here, and then it kind of dips and does a nice little S. So to do that, you're going to click over here. This is your highlights, by the way. Highlights, midtones, and shadows. So everything you do over here is going to mess with the shadows. Everything you do here is going to mess with the midtones. And everything you do here is going to mess with the highlights. So let's get started on that. So I like to do this. I like to click here, and I like to click about here. And one thing that this picture I think needs is to raise up the shadows and create like a fade sort of look. So I'm going to do that just about there. That looks about good. And then I'm going to go up to the highlights up here, and I'm just going to make it so you can see the shadow or the clouds just a little bit better, or just to darken the highlights just a little bit, just a tiny bit. And so I think that looks about good. The midtones, the kind of dip that it does looks pretty good to me right now. Maybe we can click one here, and let's raise it back up kind of to the center just to bring, just to bring back that overall light and stuff back into it. So this is just for like the tones, like the light. That kind of sums up your tone curve. You can also click here to actually bring it onto your screen and add something here. So notice, watch as I do this. It's going to drop it down. It's going to add some fade. You know, this is obviously crazy looking stuff, but tiny little movements. So that's going to add some more fade and stuff. But I kind of like doing it not on that and just to experiment with it here. Okay, let's move on to the tools now. So your main tools you're going to use are going to all be located right here. So let's start with the crop tool. This picture is too long. This picture was shot portrait in 4:6, I want to say, and the required one for Instagram, because I'm going to put this on Instagram, is 4:5. That's to make it big on the page, which is really popular right now. So in order to do that, we're going to have to shave some stuff off, and I want to shave a little bit of sky and a little bit of legs here. So you're going to go here, and they already have a setting for 4:5 or 8:10. We're going to click that. It's going to crank the picture down to 4:5 and 8:10. And I like to put my the rule of thirds, I like to put it right on the horizon, but as you can see, it cuts a little bit too much of my legs off. So we're going to bring that down just a little bit, so it kind of gets the shoes, like my body's taking up this part's the beach, and this part's the city and sky. So I kind of like that, maybe just a little bit more. And we're gonna hit enter on that. Also, you can do is you can crank the angle here. We're not gonna mess with that. That's kind of like rotating and stuff. You can unlock it here, which is also kind of a good one you might want to look into. And to unlock it, which means you can crank it down to whatever you want instead of having it locked like this, where it will have to force you all in one ratio. And when you're done with whatever you're doing, you're just going to hit enter, and we're going to move on to this next tool. So this next tool is the spot removal tool. I personally do not like this tool in Lightroom. I think it isn't very good, but I'll just show it to you. So this, let's say you want to remove this. You're going to go to the spot tool, and you can kind of leave the settings here. You can feather it a little bit if you want, but I'm just going to show it. You just highlight over that, and it's going to pick the best spot that looks to remove that object. That looks pretty good. Most of the time it does not look pretty good. I like that little rock there, so I'm just going to clear that. And just to show how I cleared that, let's go back. So I cleared that by being on the spot removal tool. So right now it's unhighlighted. You can click on it like that, and now you can see that it's highlighted. You can see the settings you've done on it, and you're just going to hit backspace, delete. Gone. Now you're back to normal. This tool right here is the red eye tool, red eye correction. So for portraits, if you have any red eye action in there, you just click on that and get rid of the red eye, which we don't have that in this picture. So this is the graduated filter tool. We're going to use this right now. I want to make this sky darker. This tool, what you can do is you can bring it down just like this, and you can make the sky darker by using this tool. So here is like the main part that this graduated filter is going to hit. So watch as I bring down the exposure. Just going to click like that. So as you can see, this part's the majority that's dark, and then after this part is the more feathered down part. So this is going to be just a slightly little bit darker, and it's going to be darker down here. As I go down, it's going to be nothing. So I kind of like how that is there, just a little bit dark. Let's go a little bit darker though. Let's add a little bit of blue into this too. So let's go -10. This is pretty good with changing a lot of the colors, and you can do different light beams. Like for portraits, you can do kind of like a light beam on someone, for example. But we're going to use this to make the sky dark, to add some drama to this shot. I like it there. I'm going to move on to the next tool. I think this one looks good. So we're going to unclick that, and then we're going to move on to the radial tool. This radial tool is going to add like a circle to your image. And a circle, you can add stuff in there. So you can totally bring this down. I'm going to put like a little orangey here, like a little sunset looking part. And I'm going to stretch this, and because sunsets generally take up a lot of space. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger, stretch it just a little bit more. And I'm going to bring up the yellows to about 50. And I'm going to add like 15 to here just to keep a nice color. So as you can see, kind of right now, it looks a little too not feathered, I guess, so to say. So I'm going to add about, let's do 65 feathering. That makes it a little bit better on here to make it look a little less fake, even though I kind of like this magical look that it's doing. So I like everything here. Just simple color changes are nice. You can also do like drop the highlights and stuff, but this is just simple, nice, good, easy. Also, if you didn't want to do this kind of thing, so let's go back. We double click to go back to 0. You can also come to here. This is going to be like your select color area. Here's like your sunsetty kind of colors, very yellow looking stuff though. So that's a very subtle one, and it gets more hardcore here. You can go down and you can click around here, add some more red in there, or you can just do it the other way. So, but we'll just leave it like that. That looks pretty cool. And you can change the saturation a little bit higher. I'm gonna go 70 on that. Okay, let's move on to the next tool. So I'm gonna unclick here, and then let's click on the next tool. This is your brush tool. This is probably the most thing you'll be using. This tool is really good for just coloring objects or highlighting objects, or you're gonna light objects up, or you're gonna put clarity on something. So let's get right into this here. So here, starting right off, let's just put a little circle right here. You can see you can play with the colors, exposure, everything just like normal. To delete this, I'm gonna hit delete. And right now I want my shoes to light up. I don't like my shoes faded. I think it would look kind of cool without my shoes so faded. So let's start here. We don't need to hit anything because watch. You're gonna highlight here, but you can't see anything, right? So you're gonna hit O. O is gonna bring up this red, which is not gonna be on your picture, but it's gonna make it so you can see what you're doing without having to change a setting. So I'm just gonna quickly highlight my shoes here. Now, as you can see, I have a little bit leftover stuff here, like hanging off my shoe. I'm gonna take that away by being right on this tool. I'm just gonna hold the start button or option button for Apple. And I'm just gonna now click just like as I add, but to remove. I'm just gonna remove this junk here on the side, and then I'm gonna add a little bit down here. Now to see what I'm about to do to all this, I'm gonna hit O again to take that mask overlay off, or that red. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna brighten my shoes a little bit. So I'm gonna hit 0.8. And let's bring up the clarity on this because I want my shoes to pop even more. Let's go down to here just to see what this is. So here's your size. You can bring up your size like that by just clicking here, or I personally use the scroll on my mouse like this. And then see the middle circle? That's gonna be your overall size where your highlight or where you're clicking really matters. That outside circle is how much it's gonna feather off. So you can change how much is gonna feather off right here. Note, watch the circle, the outer circle. It's gonna go down as I reduce the feather, and it's gonna go up. This feathering is really good for softening on the face and other things. So I'm just gonna use this feathering, for example, high feathering. So it's not gonna do too much on the outside of that inner circle, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna hit O. Oops, let's start a new one here. So I'm gonna click new. I'm gonna highlight where I want here. Hit O to make sure it all looks good, which it does not. I'm gonna hold the Windows button or the Mac button to remove this here and remove a little bit here and on the pipe. And I'm gonna hit O again. And I'm just gonna add some clarity here just to make that water look just a little bit more dramatic. And let's just do 2 for the saturation, just to bring back a little bit of that color. So that kind of sums up the tools here. Now let's move on to what these tools have to offer. All these tools have this setting right here, effect. These effects are gonna do different things to your image. Let's go down and check out some of these. Burn is gonna darken. They're pretty straightforward what they're gonna say. Burn's gonna darken the image. So let's just, we're on new. Let's just gonna see what that does. That defaultly sets something here. So you don't have to keep going back and typing this in manually. And that's gonna darken your shot right there. Let's remove that. And let's just go to another one that you might need here. So let's say you wanna make an image warmer or something warmer on this shot. I'm gonna click warmer, and it's gonna defaultly add this here. And I'm just gonna click around like that. And you just made your shot warmer. Now keep in mind, let's say you wanna whiten someone's teeth, right? You're gonna whiten their teeth, but you go, oh, this exposure is way too bright. Their teeth are straight white in your shot, way too bright. You can just go here and you can just change it to what you want. Let's say you want 0.2 to make it a little bit less hardcore. And there you go, you just lighten the teeth, or you can just change this, and let's say you want to go back. Just click teeth whitening again, and you get back to that default setting, and it changed it right there for you again. We're gonna hit delete on that. Now let's move on to some of the presets that Lightroom has to offer. These are gonna be located right here under presets. Your navigation window is gonna be kind of your preview of what you're gonna put into here. So watch as I go over black and white high contrast without clicking. Without clicking, it shows that image of what that's gonna look like before I click it. So let's say you can test if you like it or not. So let's just click that, and then it'll bring it up to here. Let's do Control Z on that to get that away. So these are just some of the presets Lightroom has to offer right here. And these are my own presets I added in. Also, if you, let's say you love this setting right here. You love this and you're gonna use this on another shot in the future, maybe in a week, maybe in a month. You can just hit this plus sign right here, and this is gonna save this preset for you right around here. And I'm gonna put it in the folder user presets. You can put it in any preset you want, or you can make a new folder. I have my user presets, which is located down here, and you can name it whatever. Let's just name it YouTube. And then you're just gonna check what you like on here, and then you're just gonna hit create. And that would save this whole thing as a preset. So next time you want to make that, you would just go to user presets or wherever you saved it and click that name. Now let's go down to history here. This is going to be another tool you're going to want to use. You can look here to navigate what you messed up on and what you want to change. So that's kind of your history. And then you can use that to see where you want to go, and then you can just click. And then see it brought back that little thing when I was showing you over there. Now let's move on to seeing your before and after. So let's say you did this and you just want to see what you've done. Right under your delete button is the / button or /, something like that. You just tap that once. Tap it. There's your before. It lets you know that right here. And then you can tap it again to go to your after. If you want to compare them right side by side, you can go to here, or you can hit Y. And that's going to put a straight line down the middle to show you this versus your after here. Now let's say you want two pictures to compare. You're going to hold Shift and Y. These are just quick little things at the end. And to get this back to regular, we're going to hit Y again and go back. Let's say you hated this and you just want to go back to this version. If you want to start all over again, you're going to use this right here. You're going to click reset, and it's going to bring this back to exactly how you put it in your camera. And of course you can do Control-Z and undo all that. So this kind of sums up what's going on here in Lightroom. These are like more of the settings you're going to get into for the finer detail of stuff. These are your tools that you're going to be using a lot more. Whew. If you made it this far, you are a trooper and you really want to learn this stuff. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video taught you quite a bit, and if I did go a little too fast, feel free to just go back and start from the spot you wanted to and just watch it again and again. I just did that for time reasons. And if you liked this video and you thought it was good, please like it and subscribe for future stuff. I'm going to be doing a lot of stuff in the future. Thank you.